Welcome to Empire State Engagements. I'm excited to be in person at the New York State Museum, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Connie Frisbee Houde, who is clothing and textile curator here at the State Museum.
I'm going to show you a couple of coverlets from our coverlet collection. We have over 58 coverlets that came from all over New York State, and many of these coverlets are from late 18th century, early 19th century. By the Civil War, they weren't being made so much because the cotton that they're made out of was difficult to get. But I thought I would show you two different ones today that give a kind of an interesting contrast of what was done. Now you say coverlet. What's a coverlet? A coverlet is a woven bed cover. This has on one side the blue, and on the other side it's the white that you see here in the front. And so these are often sometimes called summer-winter coverlets, and you could flip it over and have the lighter show in the summer and the darker in the winter. It's also sometimes referred to this particular one as a double weave because the blue is on the top and underneath is the white. So there are a couple places here where it's a little worn, and I found them earlier and now I'm not seeing them. Right here, where you can see that that's a double woven fabric. These were woven on looms. Sometimes they were quite wide looms and sometimes they were narrower, and two panels would be woven and then stitched together. And then depending upon how good your weaver was, they matched up pretty well or they might not have matched up. Most of these were woven by professional weavers. There are many geometric patterned ones that could have been woven by people at home. Sometimes when you'll see a note, it may say, you know, woven by so-and-so and so-and-so in their home, and that's not usually the case. But often the wool might have come from the sheep of a family's farm, and they would have spun it and then taken it to the weaver. Often the cotton was done by machine. And this has this wonderful pattern of these trees in the border, which is one thing I'd like you to keep in mind when I show you the next coverlet. This particular one, I get my catalog sheet out here that will remind me of what I'm looking at, is dated from about 1780 to 1830s. And these were commonly used in a house on your best bed. And in small houses, your bedroom was not a private room like we see bedrooms today. They were all on one floor, and it was almost like it was like a living room of sorts, and you entertained guests in your bedroom. So you wanted something very elegant to be on your bed that would kind of say, this is who I am, and this is, showing my wealth. So that may be what people did, is spent money and resources on having something that would show up on their best bed. Sometimes later on, they even had patterns that were a little more politically oriented, that if you knew what you were looking at, you could tell whether this person was patriotic or not. So this is one of the coverlets from the collection. It belonged to a family, and this is one of the ones that may have been made from wool from the sheep of the family farm. This one does not have any woven in name on it. Often, sometimes in the corner blocks, it will show who it was woven for, more so than the weaver's names. Some people get confused and think that it's the weaver's name that's on it, but it's often the person that was woven for, and it would have a date on it. Sometimes different weavers had what they called a factory, that may have been 6 weavers together that wove, and they might have a corner block that had a particular design. For instance, there was a weaving factory in Ithaca, New York, and the logo for that was a lion. So you get to recognize some of these coverlets. So I'm just going to fold this one back and show you the one that's underneath. Now, these, you can see very similar trees and some of the same kind of patterns that you would see on other coverlets. But this one is very different. It's embroidered. And the woman who did it was saving on threads. Rather than having threads running through on the other side, she stitched it in such a way that the threads are only on the one side. This was a twill woven blanket that was then embroidered. Now, she might not have been able to afford taking her wool to a weaver to have it woven, but she wanted something for her best bed. And I keep saying her because this one does have her name in cross stitch here, and the date 1844, and it is Sarah Baker. Part of it is missing, and so I had to look it up because I can't quite read it. But so this is the only one of these that I've ever seen like this. That doesn't mean it's the only one that was, but it's just one that came into our collection recently. And I was intrigued by it more than anything else. And then working with a consultant that we had come in this year and look at our collection of coverlets, she affirmed that it was something very worthwhile for us having. So that is often where we get our donations from, is people who have something that maybe their family is no longer interested in it, and they offer it to us. And we work very hard in more recent years to discover as much as possible from the family of origin of where the piece came from, who might have made it, how it was used, because that becomes much more interesting and makes the piece that much more valuable to our mandate as a museum to educate the public. And so that's what I hope. I've given you some little tidbits about the coverlets in our collection today.
Well, you certainly have. Thank you so much, Connie, for your time.
You're welcome.